Breaking news, a legal victory for Johns Hopkins University in keeping its newly created police force. An arrest tonight, 2 weeks after a city school student was killed. A cross-country manhunt.
Is former President Trump about to be arrested? And why do he and his supporters say there's a real problem with the top prosecutor? I'm Scott Thuman in Washington with new developments.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 News at 6.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Mackenzie Frost in for Mary. The Fox 45 News at 6 starts right now with the exclusive Fox Track, your Baltimore Minute.
In the future, Maryland is going to have less money to spend. State Comptroller Brooke Learman says at their most recent quarterly meeting, the budget revenue estimates were reduced.
We reduced our budget revenue estimates by about $400 million for the next fiscal year.
The changes in revenue projections are critical because money drives lawmakers' decisions. And as Governor Westmore's budget makes its way through Annapolis, Republican lawmakers worry the state needs to cut back spending.
The message is to lawmakers, tighten your belts and stop spending money.
Working with the city's newly launched Clean Core initiative, Christopher Irvin's nonprofit among those tasked with collecting trash and wiping away waste across West Baltimore. It's not just garbage cluttering the curbs.
We were nowhere prepared for the volume of needles that we were finding, not just back in the grass or in the shadows, but literally in the middle of the sidewalks, in the middle of the streets.
Breaking news right now at 6 o'clock. An arrest made tonight in the shooting death of Isaiah Carter. He's the 16-year-old Patterson High School student who was shot and killed at a park near his school. Fox 45's Keith Daniels with the arrest details.
Well, Police Commissioner Michael Harrison made the announcement here at City Hall with the mayor today. The commissioner called the teen's murder another tragic example of the crime crisis that's happening in the city. But today, an arrest in the shooting death of a teen. Now, police have arrested and charged 23-year-old Roger Mendoza in connection with the murder of 16-year-old Isaiah Carter. Mendoza was arrested yesterday. Police say with the help from the public, they were able to track down Mendoza in the southern part of Texas, where they say he was attempting to flee the country. Now, Mendoza is accused of fatally shooting Carter about 2 weeks ago in a park near Patterson High School, where Carter was a student. We asked the mayor today, what responsibility does city schools play in the shooting and the city's crime crisis?
So this isn't just about the school system. This is why we called them over and brought them into this work, because what happens in our schools is also in our community and vice versa. This is not something that some principal or the CEO or one teacher can do. This is about all of us as a collective, as a city, can bring these kind of things to a halt.
Well, police say Mendoza has a criminal record, which includes one here in Baltimore City. According to online court records, that was for a 2018 first-degree burglary charge. Meantime, Baltimore police say they're working now to extradite Mendoza from Texas back here to Baltimore. Reporting tonight at City Hall, Keith Daniels, Fox 45 News.
Just last week, 2 Baltimore students were shot in Northeast Baltimore at 2 separate gas stations. 20-year-old Brianna Ennis, who attends Achievement Academy, was killed. His killer is on the run. This year, 7 city school students have been killed. There are no suspects in 4 of those murders. An alarming number of drug needles on the streets of some Baltimore neighborhoods. And Fox 45's Rebecca Pryor reports on the shocking findings from the city's Clean Core initiative.
Yeah, this group tells me that they're doing all that they can to help clean the streets, but they're concerned with the sheer number of needles that they've been finding, so much so that they're now calling on the city to step in.
If you want to walk in right along the fence,
we might find some more.
Not might.
Working with the city's newly launched Clean Core initiative, Christopher Irvin's nonprofit among those tasked with collecting trash and wiping away waste across West Baltimore. But hidden beneath the piles of debris,
there's one. There's a couple.
And sometimes even scattered openly along the sidewalks. It's not just garbage cluttering the curbs.
We were nowhere prepared for the volume of needles that we were finding, not just back in the grass or in the shadows, but literally in the middle of the sidewalks, in the middle of the streets.
According to the CDC, discarded drug needles can lead to the spread of several diseases, including hepatitis and HIV. A major concern for Irvin, his crews alone collecting up to 1,000 needles a day. This bin offering just a glimpse of the stockpile of syringes they've gathered over the last month.
We've definitely collected thousands.
Meanwhile, just blocks away, one of the city's needle exchange mobile units is offering a safe space for used needles to be thrown away. But with limited locations and time slots, Irvin says clearly these efforts aren't enough to solve the surge in syringes strewn throughout the city.
There should be some type of secure receptacle, because as a city, we give out needles for safety's sake. There should be a safe way to collect them. So wherever there's a trash can, there should be a receptacle right next to it.
Irvin says the receptacles would offer a 24-hour solution, one that's desperately needed in places like these, where even a week following a thorough sweep, you're still guaranteed to find needles littering the streets.
We're trying to get Baltimore to a better place.
Now, I reached out to the health department, DPW, and the mayor's office today asking if they're aware of the number of needles that this group has been finding on a daily basis. I also asked them how they plan to respond to this health hazard. But as of news time tonight, have not heard back. In Baltimore City, Rebecca Pryor, Fox 45 News.
Now taking a look at the Fox Quad Box. A legal victory for Johns Hopkins in keeping its police force. A judge has dismissed a lawsuit from a group of city residents asking the court to toss out a memo with the Baltimore Police Department. The Baltimore City Fire Department has identified the 3 children killed and 2 adults injured in a West Baltimore house fire Saturday. 2-year-old Cash Lawson, 1-year-old Nasir Lawson, and 7-year-old Sky Blue all died Saturday morning. A 50-year-old is still in the hospital. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. A juvenile was shot multiple times yesterday afternoon in Glen Burnie. This was on Windingwood Road near Crane Highway. The victim's injuries are not life-threatening. The federal manhunt for former Governor Larry Hogan's ex-chief of staff, Roy McGrath, continues. A week ago, he failed to show up to his federal fraud trial in Baltimore. The FBI has executed a search warrant at his home in Florida. McGrath's wife and attorney both say they're concerned about him and don't know where he is. Today is the self-imposed deadline for legislation in Annapolis to reach the opposite chamber for hearing in order to have a better chance in making it to Governor Westmore's desk. Several big pieces of legislation, including some anti-crime efforts and the bill backed by City State's Attorney Ivan Bates, have yet to clear the crossover hurdle. And right now it's unclear what will get done. In Annapolis, it's a rush to get bills into the other chamber, all before the end of session. Governor Westmore making some final pitches for his priorities.
We're incredibly excited about where we are.
Meeting with lawmakers and giving reporters an update.
This administration is moving with a new sense of collaboration with the members of the Maryland General Assembly.
But the bill backed by Baltimore's newest top attorney, Ivan Bates, remains in the balance after the crossover deadline. Bates's bill looks to increase the maximum penalties from 3 years to 5 for first-time gun offenders. And because it's a misdemeanor, defendants only have to serve 25% of their sentence.
When I talk about this bill, I think about a couple of things.
It's been heard once in the House, and it's scheduled for the Senate committee Tuesday. The thought is now the intent will be rolled into something else. But what exactly remains unclear. Meanwhile, Senate Bill 1 moving forward, curbing where legal gun owners can bring their firearms in public. Other bills like the Violent Firearms Offender Act, cracking down on repeat violent offenders by increasing penalties, as well as plans to implement tougher penalties for juvenile criminals, are unlikely to get through.
Now you've got a Democrat in office. These ideas definitely aren't going anywhere.
Political analyst John Deedy says the real issue isn't about the veto-proof majorities Democrats have in both chambers.
The crime issue battle is a battle not between Democrats and Republicans, but between progressive Democrats and moderate Democrats.
But for people in communities like Baltimore, the gunfire knows no political party, and people are clear about where their priorities lie. Of the nearly 150 viewers asked by Fox 45 News if lawmakers in Annapolis are taking the crime crisis seriously enough, 145 people said no. The January Gonzalez poll shows crime and public safety is the second biggest concern, with 24% of voters. 35% of black voters statewide say crime is their top priority, and in Baltimore City, nearly 50% of voters say public safety tops their list. While the governor continues to lobby in Annapolis,
We know that there's a lot more to do before sine die.
negotiations are underway, and lawmakers are in session until April 10th.
Meanwhile, there is bipartisan support in both the House and Senate to move forward with bills repealing the Maryland 529 board and giving control of the college savings fund to the office of the state treasurer. The bills in the Senate and the House will not make the crossover day deadline, but lawmakers say that won't stop them from passing the plan.
The Maryland 529 program, which was filed late as a result of a number of different reasons, but I think is the right legislation. I think there's agreement with the House that we want to move that program to the Treasurer's office and wind down the prepay program. So I feel good about that one coming afterwards.
A hearing for the House version of the bill is set for tomorrow afternoon. And Fox 45 News is helping to make your voice heard. Scan the QR code on your screen. It'll take you right to our website. We've put together a list of names and phone numbers for your senators and your delegates. Former President Donald Trump bracing for a possible indictment. We break down the case that could lead to the arrest.
And after a bit of a chill for today, average high temperature of 56, only made it to 53. As we head towards the first day of spring, tomorrow, first full day of spring, I should say. It's warmer, 62. We're up near 70 by Friday. I'll let you know when rain could ruin these warmer temperatures, though. My Weather Authority forecast.
Fox 45 News, winner of 17 2022 Regional Emmy Awards, more than all other Baltimore news stations combined.
Now taking a look at the Fox box. The president of China and Russia sitting down today in Moscow. The three-day trip has been described as an opportunity for the two nations to deepen their strategic partnership. An American aid worker kidnapped in Niger has been released after 6 years in custody. It's not immediately clear why the captors of Jeffrey Woodkey released him. The U.S. has worked for years to secure his release. More job cuts coming to Amazon. The retailer plans to eliminate 9,000 tech roles. In January, the company announced it was laying off 18,000 employees. And Idaho could become the 5th state to allow execution by firing squad. The method will be used as a backup to lethal injection. Prisons cannot get the drugs needed. Opponents say a firing squad is particularly gruesome. And time is ticking to see if former President Donald Trump is about to be arrested. Chief political correspondent Scott Thuman takes a look at the political and legal implications of the investigation.
Barricades and security cameras going up in New York for the possible indictment and court appearance of Donald Trump. Trump long denied paying hush money to a former adult film star to cover an alleged affair. Now he and many conservatives, including Trump's potential 2024 opponent, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, insist the case is political and that the New York District Attorney Alvin Bragg was helped into office with donations from progressive billionaire George Soros.
In this case, it was, we know who we want to get first, Trump, and then let's find something on him. The way it should be done is a crime is committed, and then you look for the person who committed the crime. The Attorney General of New York ran on a campaign of Get Trump. That's why I wrote a book called Get Trump.
Famed defense attorney Alan Dershowitz says prosecutors have a much better chance of convicting Trump for allegedly taking top secret documents or sedition and inciting a riot on January 6th.
The sedition case in Washington is the strongest case because if he were convicted of sedition, he might be precluded from running under the 14th Amendment.
If this is not going after your political opponents and using the government to do so, I don't know what is.
Republicans are now demanding Bragg testify before a congressional committee and turn over any communications he had with the federal government. Meanwhile, Trump and his loyal fans now ramping up, calling for protests.
He only profits and does well in chaos and turmoil. But look, at the end, being indicted never helps anybody.
Politically, the fallout of an indictment is still unclear. Some think it'll re-energize Trump supporters and improve his chances in 2024, while others say it'll just be more damage piled onto twice losing the popular vote and 2 impeachments. On Capitol Hill, I'm Scott Thuman.
We want you to join the national conversation. Do you think a potential indictment of former President Donald Trump is politically motivated or simply following the law? You can weigh in right now by taking out your phone and pointing your camera at the QR code right there on your screen.
Fox Triplecast this evening looking pretty nice on this first day of spring. Arrived at 5:24 p.m. You see the sunshine there on the Mile 1 Taos Cam and the Toyota East Harbor Sky Cam at the bottom of your screen. And the HC radar showing not a whole lot as the latest weather maker is fair weather high pressure, which means it is beautiful, like you see right here. And actually, it's going to be warming up by tomorrow. 53 and sunshine right now with our fair weather friend, high pressure overhead. Toyota East Harbor Sky Cam looking good. It does have a little bit of a bite to it. Winds out of the west at 7, humidity nice and dry at 23%. So you may have to throw on a jacket as you're headed home from work on a late commute with 48 at Bel Air, 47 at Elkton, 46 Annapolis, 49 Stevensville. Everybody else in the low to mid 50s. If you wouldn't believe this, temperatures are about 10 to 15 degrees warmer than they were just 24 hours ago. Shows you how cold it was yesterday with highs only at 42. But that was a brief visit from that chill. Now sunshine is going to help us out. Next weather maker way out in the Rockies, westbound towards the west coast. So cool sunshine today. Warmer weather with sunshine coming for tomorrow. There's that high pressure I was talking about, that fair weather. And then the next weather maker with the rain, that could be arriving by the middle and end of the week. So it will turn on settle, but it will be warming too. Temperatures settling down into the 20s and 30s, as this computer model says overnight tonight. So you'll need a jacket to start. By tomorrow, we go with sunshine, mid-50s for lunch, and 2:30 p.m. well up into the 50s, maybe even 60, 65 degrees for a high. So 28 tonight. It's unseasonable chill, clear skies. For tomorrow, 62, lots of sun, beautiful day for a run or a jog outside. I'm going to let you know how it looks all the way through that 10-day forecast through the first weekend of spring. That's coming up in just a couple of minutes.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
First day of spring, but that's graupel falling in South Carolina Monday morning. Graupel forms when supercooled water droplets freeze onto snowflakes. It feels like soft hail. Why did the elk cross the road? To return to their mountain home. Utah's Division of Wildlife Resources led the 80 head of elk across Interstate 80 Sunday morning. The relocation from the Salt Lake Valley into the mountains went off without a hitch.
For more content like this, follow the National Weather Desk on TikTok.
Another year of the Be More Healthy Expo is this weekend. After the break, we check out one group you will see that's changing young lives.
This Fox 45 news segment is sponsored by the Marching Elite Foundation.
The countdown is on to another year of the Be More Healthy Expo. It's this Saturday at the Baltimore Convention Center from 10 to 4. The expo can help guide you on your journey toward a healthier lifestyle. You can receive a free health screening, check out cooking demonstrations, and even learn about life-saving skills. And on Saturday, you'll also be able to see the Marching Elite. It's a nonprofit using music to change the lives of children. Fox 45's Mark Clark checks them out.
And with Dennis Green with the Marching Elite Foundation, getting ready for this weekend at the expo, but we'll see a little bit of snippet of the wonderful works that they do here. So Dennis, tell us about the Marching Elite Foundation.
So the Marching Elite is a music and arts program here in Baltimore City focused on teenage youth, making sure that they have something positive to do, that they stay out of trouble. We're a college readiness program.
Love it.
So our focus is to take them from not knowing anything to getting into college, through college, and also having some funds to support that. Our tool we use music and arts to do that.
Can we hear some of them?
Yes, sure.
All right, let's hear some.
Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and...
Marching Elite Foundation, and again, you'll see them at the expo this weekend. You can see from 5 years old and up, getting ready for college and getting ready to join us this weekend. Dennis, thanks so much for the time, okay?
Thank you.
Mark Clark, Fox 45 News.
All right, here we go. Let's take a look at that exclusive 10-day forecast. Temperature at 62 with unseasonably mild conditions working in for tomorrow. First full day of spring, 64. Mostly cloudy on Wednesday. Could see some spot showers for Thursday. Shower or two here on Friday with a high 70. That goes into Saturday as well. And then a cool down as we head into late next week.
This story is trending today. The cast of the TV series Ted Lasso getting a visit at the White House. The crew met with both the president and First Lady today to discuss mental health. They also stopped by the briefing room where they were asked a very serious question by a serious journalist.
I can't help but take this opportunity to take at least one question. So please, yeah. Wait, hold on here. Decorum, right? That was the word we were using, decorum? Yes, sir. Familiar face. Hi.
Trent Prim. Fake journalist.
Yes, sir. Yes, Trent. Nice to see you.
How do you feel about Kansas City being one of the named hosting cities for the 2026 World Cup?
Ooh, here I was hoping for a softball. What I am genuinely worried about is once we get all these folks from all over the world to come to Kansas City and see our city, eat our food, meet our people, you're going to have a lot of folks that won't want to move away. That's what I'm worried about.
Ted Lasso about a soccer coach who takes over an English club. That's all for the Fox 45 News at 6. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you right back here at 10 o'clock.